Just like we spoke about another life before the break, with an incredible sacrifice comes a legacy that was destined to give back to the community and carry on a sense of duty. Everyone on Delmarva is familiar with the tragic passing of Corporal Keith Heacook of the Delmar Police Department back in April of 2021. It's hard to believe it was that long ago, as this horrific event made ripples all over the region and continues to weigh on us really to this day.
Yeah, and so the Corporal Keith Heacook Memorial Scholarship was established. Its purpose to not only honor the man that we lost, but to bolster the life of a Delmar High School graduate pursuing a career in public service. And today we are joined by the first recipient of the scholarship. This is Samuel Brumbley. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having us.
So congratulations on the scholarship.
Yeah, thank you.
How'd that make you feel?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, it's been about 2 years now since I received it.
Right.
It was really special, with it being so recent after the tragedy happening.
Right.
And although I didn't know Corporal Heacook, coming from such a tight-knit community like Delmar, it was really special. They were having that event for him, the event they put on every year now for Keith Heacook.
Yeah.
So it was definitely special, and it's not as much about the money of the scholarship as much as about honoring the name of one of our fallen heroes. So.
Sure. So what inspired you to get into law enforcement?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I come from a football background at Delmar. I love being a part of the team, being a part of something bigger than myself. I also have an aunt who was a captain of Troop 5 at the Delaware State Police. So I got a little exposure to it there. She had taken me into some of the troops, and I got to see some of the police officers. And how that was where I think the seed was initially planted. To get into law enforcement.
So you've been a cadet with Seaford for the last year?
Yep, that's correct.
And how's that been? What's it been like?
It's been good, yeah. So I started last year. It started out as a seasonal program, similar like the bike ops at the beach.
Right.
You go work there like 6 months or through the summer. It's for college kids trying to get experience and also help the department out through the summer. So it worked out well. I ended up being the only cadet last year because it was their first year doing the program. So I had the opportunity to just ride along with the full-time officers for the most part that year.
Oh,
and Seaford's a pretty busy area, so I got to see quite a bit, get into some action. And then this is their second year on the program. We got 2 new cadets this year. It's been fun. We've been doing some ride-alongs, also some bicycle patrol, foot patrol, that community policing aspect, try to bridge the gap between the police and the community.
Right.
So being on a bike, on bicycle patrol like that, a lot of times, people feel more comfortable coming up and talking to you rather than a cop in their car. They're kind of closed off.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything that you saw in these ride-alongs that might have had you second-guessing what you're getting into?
I think when I first started a little bit, because I went through Rehoboth Seasonal Academy, right? So they're training you to be a bike cop in Rehoboth, right? Which is very different than riding along with full-timer in Seaford, right? So there was times it was a little bit of a shock, right? Some of the stuff I was seeing, and I started learning how much you're constantly in confrontation, right, as a police officer, right? And some more stressful situations, and it definitely took a few weeks for me to kind of get acclimated to it. And there was definitely times where I was like a deer in headlights a little bit. But one thing one of the sergeants had told me is, if you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not getting better, right? And there's a lot of times there I was uncomfortable, and here I am a year later, and I feel a lot more comfortable with my ability.
Yeah. So you're from Delmar.
Yep, that's correct.
And you mentioned how tight-knit the community is. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind for me is the football games, right? I played football at Delmar all 4 years, and the population of Delmar is really not that high, but Friday night, those stands are packed, like thousands of people. Everybody comes out, and you get to see everybody comes together over this one thing, which was football, right?
So you've committed to law enforcement. Where do you see yourself in the future? What is your long-term goal?
Yep. So right now I'm in the application process with the Seaford Police Department to be a full-time officer. So I've already done the PT test, written test. The goal is to start there. I'll probably sign like a 4-year contract. I really enjoy I fall in love with that department, right? The inner city police work, our style of policing, getting to calls in progress as action's going down. Me having family and from the state police, I do have a little interest in that. Maybe down the road, getting in there, just all the special units that they have, all the opportunity with like the SWAT team and the drug unit. For now, I'm pretty much all in on Seaford PD, focusing on this application. Next week, I have my oral board scheduled. This is actually pretty good practice, answering some questions under a little practice, under a little pressure, I mean. But yeah, so that for now, Seaford PD is the plan. And we'll see maybe down the road if I want to stay there long term, if I want to try to get into the state police.
I think you're going to do great.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again.
Yeah, that's great.
And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.